Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are ready to draw because in today's video I'm going to be continuing my 2500 challenge. And for those of you who don't know how this works, if you're new, basically I'm going to be drawing somewhat live, and as I draw, the references that I use will be in the top left hand corner of the screen. So feel free to, draw along with me or just listen to me talk, whatever it is that you want to do. But let's just go ahead and jump right into it. I will say that number one, this brush is way too big, but I will say I am kind of pressed for time when it comes to making this video. Normally how my recording schedule works is I usually record sort of a week in advance, and then I spend the following week, kind of editing. That way I can have it ready for, I think her hips are like this. That way I can have it ready for the following week since I upload every other week. But I had some things come up that kind of prevented me from recording last week, and so I'm kind of having to do it today on Tuesday, which basically means that this video needs to go out tomorrow. Normally with these types of videos where I do my 2500 challenge, I try to draw for at least an hour or record for at least an hour. And depending on how this goes, I may have to just cut it at 30 minutes, or I may be able to record for the full hour. It just kind of depends. I'm already having trouble with this with this angle. I thought this was gonna be not easy, but I mean, I don't know. I was kind of staring at it before, doing this, and I thought I had a good game plan for how to tackle this, but the references that I'm using today are from Shutterstock. But like I said, they'll be in the description along with, all of the other references I've ever used for my 2500 challenge. So if you don't necessarily like the one I'm doing, you can totally pick a new one off of the Pinterest board that I have. And I am continuing with my studies, I guess, on the torso, or I guess really sort of like the midsection of the body. I do kind of include a little bit of the legs in the drawings, but that's not really my main focus as of right now. And I picked this reference specifically just because the angle was very, sort of dynamic. It just looked like there was a lot of sort of foreshortening in it. But like with most of these videos, I do have some talking points. I don't really have as many points as in the past. There wasn't really a whole lot going on this week. So that's like another reason why I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this for an hour. One thing I wanted to talk about was I did watch the new season of Umbrella Academy, season 2. I honestly kind of forgot that Umbrella Academy was a thing. It was kind of sad because I really enjoyed the first season. Yeah, I guess I hadn't heard anything about season 2 in a while, and after they released it, I was like, oh yeah, Umbrella Academy, that's a thing. And so I was really excited to watch it, and I kind of binge watched it within like a couple of days. Okay, this is like super foreshortened then, or like, let's see, this goes like this, I guess. And then you have her head. But anyway, so I watched it, and I really enjoyed it. I did feel like the episodes kind of went by relatively quickly, but that just may be because before I watched Umbrella Academy, I actually caught up with season 10 of Shameless. And if you guys don't know much about Shameless, I really won't go too much into it. I mean, I've talked about it in other videos, but basically the episodes in Shameless, they're like basically almost like an hour long, whereas Umbrella Academy, their episodes were like 30 minutes. So I guess, going from an hour long, like going from one show that was an hour long to a show that was, half the time, it made the episodes seem like they were going by, super fast. But I did enjoy it. I don't really want to talk too much about it, just in case if anyone hasn't seen it yet, and you know, I don't want to talk about spoilers or anything. I did enjoy it, and it kind of left us with a, you know, a pretty interesting, like, sort of cliffhanger for season 3, and I'll be, you know, excited to see what happens then. I will say I did like that. I felt like Ellen Page had, or at least her character had more to do in season 2 than in season 1. I'm a really big fan of Ellen Page. I don't know, there's just something, you know, about her that I just like. But it was nice to see her character have more to do this season, and plus we got to see more of I guess Vanya, you know, Ellen Page's character, you know, use her powers. You know, in retrospect, with how I'm drawing this now, I mean, I feel like it looks like her, except the way that I normally, or the way that I've been drawing sort of torsos, where I sort of cut off the hands and the legs, or the arms and the legs, I mean, it kind of makes it look a little weird. I mean, I feel like with, here, I don't know, maybe we can extend this a little bit. So I watched The Umbrella Academy, I watched season 10 of Shameless, which season 10 of Shameless too was really, really good. A lot of, you know, development happening with characters and things like that. I feel like it was more focused around, if you guys watched the show, it was more focused around Debbie this time around, and just sort of like what's going on with her. You know, I'm probably just gonna draw her hand. Oops, that's... Okay, well, clearly this isn't... It's not really where it's supposed to be, but... I guess since it's foreshortened, her head isn't as huge as I think it is. Probably a little bit better. But yeah, I was more focused around Debbie, and again, the whole season was good, and it, like with Umbrella Academy, it left with a interesting cliffhanger for season 11, which I didn't even think they were going to have season 11. I was under the impression that season 10 was the last season, but I'm not really sure where that came from. I thought that I read it somewhere, but I guess not. Here, let's see, maybe if I like add shading to this or something, maybe it'll look, I don't know, not as weird. And then she does have like a little bit of skin showing here. I think I'll go ahead and leave it that way. If I need to, maybe I can come back and rework it a little bit, but I don't know. I feel like that kind of looks like it. You know, another thing I wanted to talk about too was I just lately as well, I've been having just issues with motivation and my confidence in drawing. There was a couple of days where, you know, I was kind of in my own head and just somewhat, not panicking, but just, I guess, overthinking everything. You know, I felt like my progress as an artist was just kind of stagnant. Real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and switch the reference. Like I said, I'll come back to this one if I feel like I need to rework it a little bit, but let me go ahead and switch my reference. So that's torso number 8, and I actually have 3 other torsos that I drew in my sketchbook while I was at work. I was trying to sort of get over the sort of little slump, I guess, that I was having. I don't know, I'm not really sure, you know, where it came from. I feel like in the beginning of the year I was like relatively okay with like where I was. I'm not too sure, but just lately I've been feeling kind of down about, where I am and how things are progressing. But I can't remember where I read this from. It might have been from a YouTube video, or it might have been from an Instagram post, but it was basically talking about artist growth and how sometimes when we feel stagnant, usually that means we're on like a plateau of like development. Just meaning that, I think people think progression maybe with, we'll say art specifically just because obviously I'm an artist, but people think it's very, sort of linear, where, if you just keep practicing, then I guess this is like, a graph, whatever. And then, this can be like, your practice. I think I spelled practice right. Sorry, I know my handwriting is kind of crappy. This isn't the brush to be writing with, but, so like, your practice over time, and it seems like it would be very linear, right? But really what happens is it's more like this, I guess. More specifically, with that post, it talked about plateaus in some, like, well, basically like this being a plateau, this sort of weird, like, area of being, like, dead, I guess. I don't know. But, that's what they were talking about, and how it just means, you're kind of heading in the right direction. And I'm going to just delete this real quick, but you're heading in the right direction. You just kind of have to keep pushing forward and practicing, and eventually, you'll get out of it. I feel like it's just kind of difficult. And then especially with me, since I'm always in my head and, just kind of questioning everything. And then I always feel like I'm such a perfectionist, especially with art in general. I usually don't want to tackle a project unless I, account for everything, and that has its pros and cons as well. But yeah, I really want to work on being able to, start something and, sort of see it through. I think one thing that I will give myself, and I've talked about this many times too, is my YouTube channel. It's something that I wanted it to be consistent. Just for an example, like one of the things I was sort of worrying about was like how I'm not very active on Instagram, and how, I'm not really gaining all too many followers as of late. Not necessarily on Instagram, but that too, but I'm just saying within like my YouTube channel, I'm not gaining as many subscribers. The last subscribers I gained was from like my TOEFL video that I did, and that was only, I think, like 2 videos ago. I really shouldn't be too worried about it, to be honest. But yeah, like I was saying, so, I was focused on that, worrying about, not being as active, because I feel like in order to gain a following, in order to get people to sort of, notice you and everything, you need to constantly be posting, and I just don't. Obviously, that's something I want to work on, but for the most part, my main, I guess, focus is my YouTube channel, which I understand that, like, the two of them, like, my YouTube channel and Instagram can kind of go hand in hand. Like, if I gain followers on Instagram, that can drive more traffic. That can drive more traffic into my YouTube channel. And just another thing with, like, the confidence deal, and, it's weird me talking about confidence, because I think it wasn't the first video I made, but I think it might have been, like, the second or so. It was the Holly Brown fan art thing. I feel like I've talked about that video so many times, but basically in that video I did touch on the topic of confidence as well, although in that video it was more how I felt my confidence had grown. And then, of course, now here I am almost a year later, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. And I will say, like, a couple of days ago, and I'm sure you know, you guys, if you're artist as well, you've had days like this too, where I was trying to draw digitally, and I had a couple of things I was trying to work on, but it just got to a point where like I was drawing, and instead of like, or rather I was drawing, but it got to a point where like I was, you know, let's say I'm, you know, doing this or whatever I'm drawing, but then like you get so frustrated, you just start doing this and scribbling. Like you just get that upset, like because it's not turning out the way you want it. You just feel like you're having such a crappy drawing day. I'm gonna undo this real quick. But yeah, like I just felt like I was having such a crappy, like not even a drawing day, but like the whole week I was trying to draw and it just was not coming together, and I was so frustrated. And I was even worried about, you know, doing this video because I thought, what if it transfers over to, you know, this one? I'm feeling pretty good about these drawings. I feel like I always kind of surprise myself when it comes to, you know, these things, these types of videos where I have to talk and draw at the same time. I really wish I could sort of explain my process, but in the last 2500 challenge video that I did, I don't necessarily know what I'm doing. I'm just sort of doing whatever, basically. And I'll be quite honest, thinking about it now, I don't necessarily know if this is the best way to study, because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like when you study, you kind of have to, I do feel like it might be a little more beneficial to have sort of my undivided attention with this. That way you can really sort of grasp like what it is that you're drawing. You really like sort of hyper focus in on like the details. But this is the way that I'm gonna do it, and I don't know, you never know, it might help in some way. I mean, it definitely is helping me practice drawing and talking at the same time, so I mean, there's some benefit to it. I guess we can go ahead and call this number 9. Oops. Wasn't really planning on this, but I only had the 2 references, and I kind of thought they would take up most of my time. I do have one more topic to sort of touch on, so let me go ahead and real quick find another reference that I can work on, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and found another reference, so we'll go ahead and start that one. And so for my final topic, and it's kind of relevant because I mean I'm drawing bodies right now, but I have been seeing a lot of advertisements on Facebook for those like art mannequins, those Japanese ones, the Body-kun and Body-chan mannequins. And I've seen in the past, some art YouTubers, you know, review them and kind of give their thoughts and opinions on them, and I don't know, I'm kind of tempted to buy one just for the sole, I don't know, just for the purpose of, you know, artistic use. I mean, there are times where I do need certain poses, and usually I'm the only sort of model that's around, and for some of the poses that I want, it's kind of hard for me to take a picture of myself in that pose, you know, like it, especially if it's like maybe a really dynamic angle or something like that I'm looking for. Finding references online, especially if you're looking for something very specific, can kind of get pretty annoying. I probably should have drawn maybe a circle for her butt or for her pelvis, but oh well. But yeah, so I have been looking into buying them. The only thing is that I understand that they make like official ones, like Bandai is the sort of creator, the one who made them. But then there have been a lot of like knockoff, like a lot of brands that have been making knockoffs of them. They basically look the same, but I guess they just use cheaper materials and just quality is not as great. I believe the official ones, if you get them from like the Bandai, well, I think they're imported from Japan, I believe. If you get like one of those, then they can run you a couple $100s, which is insane, because I'm pretty sure they're not even sold for that much, like over in Japan. But I understand. But some of the knockoff ones, I mean, I think the cheapest I've seen is maybe like $30, and there was even a set where you could get the body Kun and the body Chan for like, oops, I didn't mean to do that. You can get them like both in a set for around $60. I'm not necessarily sure if I want the girl one though, just because the proportions of both the characters are very anime-esque, which is fine, but if you see the body Chan, her boobs are huge. Like, I feel like they're so big to the point where like they're very distracting. I guess ultimately if you're not, you know, if you don't really care, it's probably worth the buy, but I mean, I can probably just get like just the one male figure and obviously just pose him in whatever way I need him to, and then just, you know, change the proportions to make him look like a girl. I mean, that shouldn't be too hard, right? I've looked at so many reviews of them, and I mean, I've gone back and forth with the idea of like, okay, I'm gonna buy them, and then I kind of talk myself out of it, and then I'm like, no, wait, I want to buy them, and then I'm like, I don't even know. I'm so wishy-washy over it. Should probably draw her other leg. That would probably help. It's probably there. But if I do end up buying them, or if I do end up buying a figure, I will definitely make a video on it. If I do end up buying the body Kun, then maybe I can make videos where I sort of, it wouldn't be a video of me talking, but maybe more sort of like a reference video. So maybe I could record it at different angles, and, you know, depending on what angle you're looking for, you can just pause the video and maybe copy it, you know, just straight from the video. I'm not too sure, but, you know, those things have, you know, kind of crossed my mind. I know this is like a really weird thing to like talk about too, but like I've noticed since I've been since I've been recording, it's been pretty quiet outside, because usually like there's kids and stuff at the pool, since we live right by a pool at this apartment. I think some kids went back to school this week, right? I've seen a lot of things on social media about how, you know, virus cases have been going up because kids are in school. To any of you guys, I guess, who are, if any of you are in high school or middle school, whatever, or if you're in school in general, you know, just be safe. I hope you guys are being safe. Oh, I like gave her a boob on the side when she like doesn't have one. That's good. Oh yeah, but because this whole like, you know, thing has been going on for, you know, it's definitely overstayed its welcome, right? I always, you know, it always crosses my mind where I'm like, is there even really a virus, you know, going on? I'm sure that there is. I'm not. It's just me being dumb, but, you know, I'm just kind of, I'm pretty sure like with everyone, you know, like everyone else, I'm just kind of over it. You know, I just want things to kind of go back to normal. See, now that I talked about it, there's people outside now. Although I don't think they're kids, thankfully. Because then we'll be hearing screaming and splashing. Okay, I was trying to shade this and I don't think it worked out, but I will say trying to shade, well, at least in this way, kind of like how I do traditionally, it's kind of hard. I feel like anytime I try to convert the way I work traditionally, you know, digitally, it just doesn't necessarily work, because there's just a whole lot of like other factors to it. Like the fact that the pen has like pressure sensitivity. That's something that a pencil doesn't necessarily have. Like if I push harder on a pencil, the marking isn't going to get bigger, it's just going to get darker, you know? I think that's something that, I don't know why I'm talking about this now, it's just something I thought about, but, you know, that's something that, I struggled with whenever I first started doing digital art. You get so used to how you work traditionally that you don't understand, like, how different it is to work digitally. Does that look okay? I'm gonna extend her leg a little bit. Alright, so we'll call this number 10 then. So we'll just go ahead and end it there. This wasn't necessarily the video I wanted to make. I actually wanted to do the Meet the Artist sort of tag thing again. That was one of my very first sort of, I guess, one of my real videos, if you will, on this channel. And I was kind of excited to redo that one because the audio in the first one just kind of sucked. It was very quiet, and I wanted to see, you know, what the difference between the two would have been. But like I said, I just had some things come up, so this was just the easier option. Plus, I mean, it was good practice for me as well. I think this kind of helped me kind of fight that artistic, you know, slump of motivation and confidence that I've been having as well. I managed to, I think, almost record for an hour, so all in all, not too bad. I think we can call it a good day, right? So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm really sorry if this was kind of a little bit different in a way. Normally I have more topics and stuff like that, but thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it for anyone who takes the time to, you know, watch these videos and listen to me ramble. Anyway, just thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys! Thank you so much for watching. I post new art videos every other Wednesday, so consider subscribing to the channel by clicking my logo on the screen or the subscribe button down below. If you'd like to further support this channel and me, you can buy me a Ko-fi in the link below, and anyone who donates gets a shout out at the end of my videos. Thanks guys!